So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi, beautiful people. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirit, my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys, most fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you found me. Here I am. Here you are. Thank you so much. I hope these readings do resonate and that you guys do stay and subscribe. For those of you guys returning, I can't express how grateful I am for you guys to be here, for me to read for you guys again, for me to get into this reading. I cannot wait. Thank you so much. All your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, booking readings, all of it matters. Take a moment to like this video so that this video can make its way through the algorithm so the right people can see this video. Okay, so comment, like if you can. Okay. And also, I do want to put a big fat caveat on this reading. Okay, but first, what is this reading about? And why I'm doing this reading. So this reading is about person on your mind and in regards to what this person may not be understanding specifically about you, maybe part of your personality, or maybe your point of view or your position regarding a situation, something that isn't understood by this person, or maybe there's an indifference because they have a different point of view, or they're just not getting it for whatever reason. Okay, there's two perspectives maybe going on. We can't reconcile. Now, if there's nobody in your world, this could definitely apply to a situation. Okay, it doesn't have to be a person. I read energy here, and so I don't know. Energy is energy. It doesn't tell me it's a person, it's a thought, it's a action. Energy is just energy. Okay, so sometimes thoughts come through here, and so what that means is that you could be watching tarot after tarot after tarot with the exact same thoughts, and you're like waiting for something to happen and nothing's happening. Well, no kidding. Tarot is reading back to you energy, which is strong. And if you have very consistent, strong thoughts about the same thing, and you're like dreaming of some day in the future or something, this is what's going to be reflected back to you. Okay, so this is why we must be conscious, why we must rise above our thoughts. Okay, because tarot is not predicting, it doesn't know what's happening. It's just indicating energy. And if energy remains as it does, what's the most likely outcome? Because there is no fixed sort of timeline. It's picking up energy in a specific sort of state, okay? Most likely when you tap into that reading. That's why none of my readings are timeless, okay? Which also means then that you could be tapping into like your own energy, meaning what are you not understanding? What is it that you're not getting about your situation or your person? And so you're like, what? Like, if you're completely clued out, you're not going to understand the reading. This doesn't resonate. Yeah, because you're just taking it literally. Well, what it means is that there is an energy in your experience of some big fat misunderstanding. There's an indifference. Okay, if you're not experiencing that, this isn't your reading. You don't got to come to every single one of my readings saying I'm out of your collective. Yeah, well, every single reading is not going to be your thing. I do shitloads of readings for people who need to hear it. This is specific. There's somebody, okay, having a challenge either with a person or a situation because of a misunderstanding, or they can't get on the same page, or things aren't flowing. Why aren't things flowing? Because there is a need to rise above some perspective, some understanding that someone might have, whether it be you or the person you're dealing with, or just the situation. We might need to understand the situation better, or the situation is sort of under one energy and we're approaching it in another. This is always about how can we take our own power back so that we can do what we can, so we could find peace. This isn't about how can I accommodate or acquiesce or change myself because I'm not perfect or good enough. No. Okay, all my readings are about healing, and healing doesn't mean that you have to become this, Buddha enlightened person. This just means I can do whatever I can within my power and what I want to do to become the best version of me, because I know that I might be giving in to base impulses, or like my lower self. And we all give into lower self. And that would be ego and shadow. And so if we're wanting to work through these difficult energies, because we know that we're acting from base impulses and shadow and ego, then we could do everything we can. And what does this do? It makes your life easy. It makes your life peaceful. It makes you a path towards bringing towards you what's meant for you. So there is no struggle, challenge, and aggravation. The only reason we have challenge, aggravation, struggle, resistance is because we're being shown something by the universe. It's happening for us. This annoying person is for us so that we could see something that's now blind. It's coming to the surface. If you don't want to deal with heavy situations, then we got to resolve and see something about ourselves and the situation so that we don't repeat. Okay? That's a big fat disclaimer message, because I do see a lot of messages on tarot readings, people saying, I keep coming, keep getting the same thing. Tarot's a farce. I keep saying this person's coming or that will happen or that. It's like, it's not telling you, it's reading you your own energy. And so we have the power, and that energy that's being picked up is through your subconscious. So you must be in tune with your intuition to know whether it resonates. If it doesn't apply, it's not something that's going to happen. And you're not going to cross your fingers and say, I hope so. Who knows? What do you mean? This is your energy. You should know. This is your intuition. If you don't, then I don't suggest you should be seeing tarot. Now, you could do whatever you want, but this could be a big problem. And this is why tarot could be very scary for some people. And they could get very lost, lost because they're completely out of tune with their intuition, crossing their fingers and toes, hoping that the tarot reader said you're going to win the lottery gets the lottery. It's like, yeah, but that message was in regards to a blessing that was coming in energetically on a different frequency. Now, why do we tap into those or click on those videos? Because there's a message in there that's being expressed that we might be needing to hear at that moment in time. Okay, so keep your mind open, but not so open your brains are on the floor and you have no discernment. This should be something that's in line, okay? And so I do ask spirit, because we're not all intuition experts. I get it. This might be your first time to tarot. I get it. So we ask spirit, like, show me, so that I know and can confirm that this is indeed my pile. And this is why I always include the card layout, so that you can tap into your intuition. You can tie into my intuition. We can ask spirits, show me something, tell me something you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is indeed your pile. Thank you, spirit. And then when we get this confirmation, then we know that this is our message. Okay. But sometimes we just know because we're intuitive. We don't know how, because that's just how it is. And then we connect with that message, and then that's good. The tarot should be creating alleviation and growth. If you are stuck, not growing, and butting your head up against the wall with similar situations year after year, then you look what's happening, like pull out of that and see what's happening. Tarot's not helping you. It's keeping you in some sort of trap. Okay. And so this is why tarot gets bad rap from a lot of people, is because they think we're, keeping people stuck in some sort of daydream. No, and the person's being stuck in some daydream. If it's not tarot, it's something else, some other fantasy, some other thing that they're believing. Okay, so wake yourself up, rise above what you're doing. Are you healing? Are you growing? Are you working through your shadows and your ego? Do you want to, or are you just trying to appease an ego? Appeasing an ego is trying to get an immediate win in a situation. Then maybe I'm not your reader. This is all about your own ability to do what you can within your own self, so that things can move smoothly for you, either with this situation or with this person you came here about, or removing them from your energy field, because now you've vibrated to another level, and now you're bringing in other people, other situations, and you're peaceful and happy. This is all about you being at peace and things flowing in your world. Okay, so right now there's a situation, okay, a person, a situation, circumstance. It's misaligned because there is some disconnect. Assuming it's what the person you're dealing with, okay, is not understanding or not getting. Okay, but if it comes through in a different way, then that's how it comes through. And I'm not going to force spirit, and I'm not going to get mad at the channel or the tarot reader because I came here for this and now my ego's upset. I don't care. Also, I just want to add, because now I'm on a big event, I don't care about your gender. Do not care. And yes, energy isn't talking about genders. There's masculine and feminine with everyone. But gender does exist. I'm not saying, no, forget about gender. It doesn't exist ever. Yes, it does. And sometimes it pulls through my reading. And sometimes I say same sex, and that means gender. Okay, I have no problem saying penis and vagina, gender. We have a penis and a vagina. If you get triggered by gender, then that is a shadow, big fat pointer back at you that you're getting triggered. And so I'm going to say gender if I need to say gender, and I'm going to say energy, and I'm going to say male if I want to say male. I'm going to say masculine if I need to say masculine. I'm going to say female if I need to say female. I'm going to say whatever. I say whatever I want to say. I could say man, I could say woman. Doesn't matter. My channel, my rules. I don't care. And if you're triggered, bye-bye. If you want to stay, go ahead. probably your channel, because this channel is all about you seeing your own trigger and your own shadow. And that's all I care. I don't care if we see things in the same way. I don't care. You know, you have your beliefs, I have mine, right? I'm channeling exactly what Spirit says. This isn't Linda. This isn't a Linda opinion. This isn't Linda coming up with advice. I don't know any of this stuff. You know, this is Spirit. Spirit wants to deliver a message to you. I'm just channeling exactly as I see it. And 99% of the time, I'm completely not even aware of what the heck was just being channeled. Okay. So just as I don't take all the kudos and saying that it's my doing, I don't also want to take the, oh, you're this and you're that. It's like, okay, you try channeling. It's not me. I'm reading the energy from Spirit here. And of course, I'm going to read it to my capability, to my level of reading. I'm not the be-all, end-all tarot reader. I have no fucking idea. Okay. So if you're triggered, just like I got triggered here, okay, that's okay. We all get triggered. We're not super beings, okay? Good. I allow myself to get triggered. I don't try to change who I am so that I could do whatever. It's not about changing. It's about seeing and wanting to say, hey, you know, I want to become better because I know that there's a better version of me. And then turning your face back to God, choosing in the moment the higher version of you, you know, choosing love instead of fear. As long as you're in that path, then, you know, you're doing wise, you know, but we're all going to slip and fall. Imagine a universe where everyone was absolutely perfect. No, this is nothing to learn. There's nothing fun about this. And so we all have things we're needing to grow from and learn from, and triggers and challenges. Okay. There is no one that's trigger free or whatever, but the more we're in line with our authenticity, the less sort of triggering shadows, difficulties that we're faced with. And so if you have a big difficulty right now, a big hang up, a big challenge, the universe is blessing you. They're putting in front of you something so you can resolve this once and for all. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, universe, for showing me this big fat thing that I couldn't overcome, that kept bringing challenge in different ways. But maybe it was the same issue that I had or the same way that I was seeing something. I need to see it so that I can overcome this. This is why I'm being challenged. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. This is what this reading's about. If you want it to be something else, you could want it all day long, and I don't care. Leave your comments, build my algorithm. Thank you so much. And these are the decks we'll be using for this reading. Okay, so we'll do a pick a card, and we will do 3 piles. So I will pull, I'm not sure from which, most likely the blind spot oracle cards, the 3 options. Okay, but I will be using these 3 decks. And for this deck, it is the general oracle. Okay, these are the enneagrams, which I generally use here. And so if you are interested in the cards in these decks, I do have a playlist, and I'll include it right here so that you guys can go take a look at these decks. If you do read and you want to know what these decks are about, and I do give everyone an opportunity to charge the cards. Okay, and since all my readings are timeless, you could charge the cards as I open the cards, and this way the energy in that deck is going to resonate more for you, okay? I'm all about energy. And like I say, energy isn't fixed. And so we can definitely charge cards after at any point. Okay. And that's why these readings are resonating for people, and they're blown away saying, ooh, how did that happen? How does it always know my energy? Because this is exactly you being in tune with what it is that your intuition is telling you through the frequency that I'm tapped into. Okay. So beautiful angel, sit with this, and I will see you guys at your pick. Beautiful angels, we're going to pick 3 cards. Okay. And I do suggest you go listen to the big fat disclaimer. Okay. Especially if you're going to leave a comment, go ahead. But if it's already answered there, I'm not going to answer you. Okay. Because the answer is already there. So go listen to that disclaimer. Okay, and we're going to pull 3 cards, and we're going to see what is the person on your mind not understanding or seeing incorrectly or having some sort of disconnect when it comes to you and your energy. Okay, now this could be a situation. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a person every single time. Okay, it's energy. So apply it to your situation. Rise above the literal meanings that I'm talking about here, and take it into context to your situation. Lots of people, lots of energy, lots of contexts. I'm not going to get into every single context. And of course, as usual, it could be your own energy. So apply it to your own blind spot, which is hard to do. Okay, but could it be your blind spot? Is there a potential this is your blind spot? Maybe. And maybe this is the big challenge and you're not seeing something. Okay, but we're just asking about what's out of your control here to see who you're dealing with. and what they're not understanding about you or the situation between you and this person, okay, or you and this connection, or you and this circumstance, whatever it is. So, spirits, 3 cards, please. Don't take words literally. This is going to be in context with the reading, okay? So, whichever one you're pulled to will most likely have your messaging for pile number 1, spirits, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Beautiful. So if you're called to any one of these at any time, you can select from the timestamp down below. Okay, but I will reveal these shortly. Okay, so for pile number 1, you have projection with 59. Okay, option number 2, you have temporality with 61. Option number 3, you have the comfort zone with 56. This person is still here. Hi, just saw a big fat 4 pentacle. Okay, so beautiful angels. These are the 3 options, okay? Yeah, these are the 3 options. Sit with this. If you are pulled to multiple, all 3, 2, none, listen to your intuition, okay? If you have a hard time, just close your eyes. You get sort of as centered as you can. Open your eyes. The first one that calls to you is most likely the pile that you're being called to, but it could be your own energy, your own blind spot, okay? But it should have some resonance with what you're experiencing. That's what this reading is about, okay? I know in the title it says, oh, your person and they're not seeing, so you come in with that fixed view. Well, that's very fixed and very narrow. Open it. Open your understanding. This is energy and energy flows, okay? But this isn't about take it and run with it because everything is applicable and I'm trying to make it fit. No, no, no. This is very specific, okay? I'm getting very specific with the situation and the circumstance, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's how I'm saying it, you know? Because I can't possibly read for a bazillion people. It's not going to happen. You need to be intuitive enough to connect to the messaging, okay? So these are the 3 beautiful angels. I'll put the timestamp below, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angel. Pile number 1, you guys picked projection 59, and we're looking at the person on your mind or the situation, circumstance you came here about to see where's the big fat misunderstanding. You know, what are they not getting or not understanding or seeing about you? Okay, that's creating a disconnect or disharmony. Now, when you guys got projection, I'm going to pull these cards. You guys can skip ahead. This is intended for you to develop your intuition. Okay, if you're the one that keeps skipping this part, but you're the one with the questions, then clearly this part is for you. Okay, this is for you to develop your own intuition to know whether this is your reading or not. So we're asking spirit for pile 1 and the person that they came here about or situation. And what is the big disconnect? What is this person not understanding about pile 1? What's the misunderstanding, the disconnect, or what are they not getting? I do feel there's one more of these. 2 more, okay. And we got tarot, okay. So let's move these out of our way and let's pull the tarot. Clear and concise message for the beautiful pile 1. They're dealing with a person, situation, circumstance, and they want to know what is this person, situation, circumstance not getting, not understanding, and what is their perception of something that might be inaccurate, creating all sorts of tension or disharmony in this situation. Thank you, spirits. Getting very hot in here. Pile number 1. One more. Okay, let's get into your reading, all right? So we have the Knight of Wands. We have projection. Oh, my wrist just started hurting like crazy. Ooh, okay. And then we have autumn. We have friend. We have ignorance, 23 and 5, intellectual disability, lack of culture, nothingness, interior void, uneducation, and social engagement. The observer thinking center between interior and exterior. All right. And then we have frustration, 79. Okay, 7 and 1. lesson giver, restriction, nitpick, critical, impatient, and resentment. Sounds challenging. Rigidity, 55 and 1. Stiff upper lip, harshness, OCD, austerity, inflexibility, intolerance. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Oh my goodness, who the hell are you guys dealing with here? Yoicks-a-doodle. And look at this. Just a similar energy, this stiffness. Okay, this is disintegration, mental tendency, and avoidance. All right, and then finally we have compulsion ideal with loyalty, 6. Responsibility, belonging, family, sureness, solidarity, and commitment. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Okay. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, interesting energy. Let's see the tarot then. We have the King of Wands. He's in reverse, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles now. And we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, Knights are sort of how we express ourselves or how we take action. Okay, and we have the Two of Pentacles. And we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, clarifying that two pentacle. We have the King of Cups. It's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and is clarified by the Queen of Cups. Wow. King and Queen of Cups together. Interesting, very interesting. And then we have the Ace of Cups, and then we have the Hangman, Pisces energy. So strong Pisces here in this pile for sure. We have Capricorn, Gemini. We have Virgo, more Gemini, some Cancer, so strong Cancer as well. Some Taurus, and some Sagittarius. Okay, doesn't have to be your sign, but is coming through this reading for confirmation for some of you guys. So let me sit with this energy and channel what pulls through. And then under that, we have the Emperor. Okay. It's made of stone here. Aries energy. Okay. Okay. Beautiful pile number 1. Like I say, flip it, flop it, it's energy. Okay. If I say it's a person, it might be a situation, circumstance. If I say it's them and it's you, then flip it. Okay. Be open to the message, but do not force it. It's not going to be your message because I'm saying it as, okay. What's happening here? I do feel, definitely, it feels to me like it is some person, okay, that is not getting it. Okay, getting it, whatever the it is, whatever you're trying to show them. Because I feel like you're like, look, you know, like in way of action, and maybe in way of words, and maybe you're trying all sorts of different things. It's like, we want someone to get something, you know? I don't know what you want them to get. Maybe you want them to get to see, obviously you're here, your point of view, or to understand what you're trying to tell them, or for them to see a better way, you know? My dad was like this. Just like, he'll keep telling me something and it's like, yeah, but I have my own lesson and I didn't want to hear what he had to say. And, you know, later in life, I found like if I would have listened to him most of the time, I would have probably understood and went through the challenge because he meant well. But I didn't want to listen. It's like the teenager energy, you know? Because we don't want to listen, and it's not because we're trying to be disrespectful. It's because we're so focused on the challenge that we're facing and that we totally feel as though other people don't get it, or they're not giving us the right information, or they don't understand it. And so it just seems like it's like noise, you know? And so you're dealing with somebody, and I don't feel like this person is trying to like not listen to you because they think you're dumb or anything like this, you know? And it's like frustrating. It's so frustrating because I could only imagine how frustrated my dad is, because sometimes I'll see my kids doing something, you know, and you just want to tell them. And I learned at an early parenthood not to do, you know, exert so much energy trying to change their mind, because they're going to learn their lesson, you know. And my sister used to do this too. Or she would try to, because she's older, and she'd say, well, I'm older, so I know. And it's like, because I know and I learned it, now you need to know and learn it because I'm telling you. So why are you going to do it? And I'd feel, okay, I'm turning this into situations example, but mirror this back to what you're experiencing, because this is exactly what the flavor is of this reading. I'd feel when she's telling me this, there's a lot of frustration. Okay. And I knew she loved me. Obviously, she's not trying to hurt me. She wants to make sure I'm okay. But the frustration here is trust me to navigate through my situation, please. And that you might think that you know? And just because you think that you know doesn't necessarily make you know. And so let me learn this. And not only that, Spirit is saying that people must learn their own lessons through an experience or else they don't understand it. They just conceptualize it. And knowing something by the book is completely different than knowing something by experience. That's why when we become a doctor, we do all of the reading. So we know, we know terminology and we know conceptually, but then a doctor who's never operated in his life or went to practice, he can't be a doctor successfully. It's like reading all we can about basketball, how to take 3-pointers and how to not to foul and all the rules. And we've never played a game of basketball in our life. Will we be a good basketball player? No. This is the same energy. I feel like you're trying to do something here, and you really mean well, and that's good. And I don't think this person sees you as not meaning well. I think what Spirit is really saying here is that this person is needing to go through this difficult lesson in their world. And maybe we really don't want them to experience any more suffering, or we just want them to let go of what is the challenge. It's like, see what's good, or just drop that, or why are you doing that? It's just that. It's like, no, they can't just drop it. They can't just let it go. They can't just do it because you say so, or because even they might know that what you're saying is accurate or right. I doubt it. I don't think they are. I think this person is, it just seems like they're missing it when it comes to you, And you might think that this person is really fixed, or stubborn in their way, or just some sort of, I don't know. I don't know what you think here, but I feel like the disconnect here is that this person is having to experience it. And I think that this person, I don't know, that something's coming through here about, and maybe you, okay, take this if it resonates, but it is coming through, so I'm going to say it. Maybe you have a role in this person's world. I don't know what that role is, but it might be something more than a friend. Maybe you're their parent. Maybe you're their boss. Maybe you're their lover. Maybe you're their business partner. And it's more than friends here. Okay. And maybe this person, the way they're reacting or responding or the way they're doing this thing is like, you're just treating me like I'm just someone else or a friend here that's giving you friendly advice. Meanwhile, it's like, but I'm your parent, or but I'm your business partner, or but this is an equal partnership, And it's like, you're coming from this angle. And it's like, that's not going to make a difference. You could be, I don't know, an alien from Pluto. You could be, their 24/7 bed buddy. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. And I think this is the thing is like, if this person loved me, or some sort of understanding, I think that's happening here. And it's like, this person obviously doesn't care, or this person obviously either doesn't care about my opinion, or they're doing this and it's impacting me somehow. And if they were considering both of us or considering me, then their choice would be different, or they would go about it differently or understand it differently. And Spirit's saying, no, they might understand it differently, but only when they go through making the decisions and the choices that they are and learning the lesson the way they should organically once it flushes out. Just like when the tree grows its fruits and it falls down. Like if we try to grab the fruit when it's not autumn time or harvest time and it hasn't ripened, we still have a green apple or like a little fruit that's bitter and ripe. So we can't pluck it. We have to let it go through the ripeness and the process. And I feel this person is not ripe, because I do feel this person hasn't learned the lesson that they're being called to learn here. And it has nothing to do with whether they respect you or love you or give you now. This isn't giving green light for them to just keep disrespecting you. Okay, because if this person is disrespecting you in some capacity, maybe they're not being loyal to you. Maybe they're choosing something else over you. And you're saying, no, look at me, and you're trying to make them see this truth, because I do feel this is something you already sort of intuitively know or have learned already, and it's a greater truth for you. So there is some accuracy about what you're trying to show them. You're also not trying to deceive them. You're also not trying to put them out or put them down the wrong path. But what you're trying to do is rush the rightness or their understanding of something, and you're not God. You're not going to get this person to see the light, no matter what you say or do. And so we could exert ourselves trying to get this person to say or do or be what we want them to by way of words, and tire ourselves out completely. Okay. And so I feel like we could be, yeah, well, now I'm getting an energy here. It's like maybe there's these two sort of versions that you engage with this person. Okay. It's like, I tried, I was open, I was loving, I was supportive. And now it's like, screw that, it's like this rigidity. It's like, yeah, this is really coming through, and it could be, again, for sure, it could be, it is. Our ego is hurt and we're projecting that it's about us and that their decision could have been more, or that they could have, would have, should have, And so now it's like this energy of like, they're to their own devices. Then obviously they just want me to be silent, or obviously my opinion doesn't matter, or obviously like, no. And if this is how you are, or overly trying to get up in their mix, like my dad, it's like, I love my dad regardless, but if he started being like this, well, I don't care, just do what you want, I'd be hurt as fuck. And if he was like this, trying to get all up in my business, it's like, I love you, Dad, but I got to learn this. And you might be right, but, I'm still stubborn. I'm still 18. I still don't know what I'm doing. So lay off me, Dad. And the more he'd press on me, it's like, stop. Same with my sister. It's like, no, let me learn, even if I'm stupid about it, it's okay. Like, I don't want to be, and I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. And so there's these two versions of you. And I feel like what Spirit wants to do, because like I told you, this is all about you and what you can do for you and help bring peace and healing to you. You're not doing anything wrong, because I think you want this person to take the higher path or do the thing that you already learned or know, and you're accurate, but there's nothing you can do about it. That's the part that you need to understand, but what you can do, because there is something you can always be and do, is find a middle ground between supporting this person, because supporting this person is the role that that you can do. Now, you don't have to support someone you don't want to, but then know that you're either being projecting and you're being stubborn and your ego's getting in the way and you're getting frustrated. And so you're just in this, rigidity, or you're just trying to, do the thing. But the Spirit's saying to like, be compassionate, to give love. This person will learn their lesson. This person, why this is happening, this person is being shown this experience so that they could change their perception. Okay, their perception, their understanding, and their point of view. And the only way to do this is to go through something. And yeah, and I feel like it's something they have to sort of go through on their own. But if you are truly someone who can support this person, and be loyal to this person in a way, but in the higher vibrational way, would be to extend love and compassion without trying to get in the way of this person's lesson. Because I do feel like there's these two sort of energies, and maybe this is the frustration. It's like, oh, finally this person is understanding or getting it or listening. And then this person does something. It's like, do they not know? And then we get frustrated. And it's like, and you're allowed to get frustrated, but then we got to see through our own frustration. What am I really frustrated at? The fact that this person hasn't been right? Like, is that something to get frustrated about? Like, then we laugh at it and say, well, I'm just getting frustrated at life, This has nothing to do with this person's choices so much as it is their experience and their understanding. And so then we stop fighting with the universe, trying to fight this person to see the light, and that they are just being stubborn or stupid or not learning. It's like, yeah, but we all learn at our own pace. And so I feel like you get into a mode, according to this, of course, if it resonates, into the mode, then it's like the opposite, and it's so fixed. It's like you won't even then, it's like, let's say then this person comes to you, it's like, yeah, then can I get a ride? Or can I, I don't know, then can I use you for something, and I'm not saying use, but like get your support here. Can you, write this thing out for me? Because it involves whatever they're dealing with. You're like, no, And it's like, fine, if you want to keep your hands away from their stupidity or their ignorance or whatever, that's fine. But I feel like there's a part of the friend aspect that you can do and consider it, at least, that you can consider to support the person. No, I won't write it because I don't feel it's right. However, I have a library card. Here's my library card. Go up the street, do whatever. Like there's something you can do, or some sort of way you can be open, to the person, not to what they're doing or whatever, but to this person. And I don't know that you're doing it. And I feel like it creates tension. And I feel like it's creating maybe even a divide between you and this person, because this person's understanding is like, I don't understand. Like, if you love me then, or if you really wanted the best for me, then where's this other version of you that won't support me, or this other version of you that gets this, that sort of gets all upset about this thing, and then you won't even be my friend, or then you won't even support me. And then it's like, for sure, why would I think that you want what's best for me when you're hurting me, or you're clearly not here for me in the ways that I need you to be here for me, It's like when we need a friend and someone there for us, if they say, yeah, I'm your friend, but only in the times that, are going to be, that I'm available and through my terms, then yeah, I'm your friend. You'd say, well, what kind of friend is that? Because we need a friend that's going to do the things we need the friend to do, And that doesn't mean that they have to do it. That just means that then that's my true friend or not my friend. But when I need someone to drive me, or when I need someone to listen, or when I need someone to write my thing, or when I need someone to do the thing because that's part of what I'm needing right now, and they're like trying to make it fit their agenda, well, then it's about them, not about me. And is that really a true friend? And so I'd feel like that's not really my true friend. And I don't think that you're trying not to be this person's friend or lover or helper or mother or parent. I think you want to be, but then I think you turn to this, okay, well then stubborn or tough love, or you're going to learn the hard way then. It's like, no, this isn't about learning hard ways. This is all about them just going through and learning, and they do need support and love. And they need support and love in a way that you can, and of course, we're not going to enable anybody's bad behaviors. And so this is probably where the intricacies go. It's like, if you see something as a bad behavior, it's like, what sort of understandings are we holding on to and projecting into the situation and judgments? Because this person might be experiencing something, and the only way for them to see the light is to go through it. And so we shouldn't cast any judgments or projections and then act as if, it's like, no, only God knows, And so we might have more compassion and more understanding. And it's like, just because we have understanding doesn't mean we have this allow them to do whatever. It's like, no, but I understand you. And so then the conversation's a little different, because when we come from understanding, we're listening, we're receptive, but we might still not, buy the thing or do the thing, and that's fine. But at least now it eases the tension, or at least now it's like, it changes this energy. At least now it's like, hey, you are loyal to me. You're your friend, because when I needed you, even though you were against maybe my understanding of something or what I was doing, you still were there for me in some capacity to understand me, or to do whatever you could do in your ability without judgment or without getting upset about this whole thing. Okay, so 55 is change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change, because that is a master number. And so maybe we're wanting someone to change their I don't know, maybe we want someone to do something. That's what it seems like to me, Maybe get more organized, or take more control of your life, or go after it, or leave that job, or open that business, or take accountability for your life, or do something with yourself, or I don't know. It could feel parent-like, or even like a wife-like in some way, or it's like we know what's better for the other person. And it could be that this person, might be in an energy here where it seems like they have no money, or they have no job, or they have no purpose, or they seem like this to you. And to you, it's like, you already know the higher version of someone would find purpose, would be sort of aligned and have some form of drive. And so maybe for you, it's an easy, but we can't be like, oh, it's so easy. Just go find a job. Just go do it. Just apply yourself, that kind of a thing. Now, it doesn't have to be that exact script, but that's sort of an energy that's giving off here. And it's like, maybe you're tired of seeing this person without money, or not getting any, or doing the same thing, or like, squandering their money when they have it. We all know those people where it's like, all of a sudden it looks like, okay, they finally got a job, or they finally got a paycheck. And then they come in with like, I don't know, a whole bunch of like I don't know, gizmos and gadgets. And you're like, what? Didn't you need your money so that you could save for school, or so you could save for the car, so you could get a better job, or so you could move out? And they're like, all these like, I don't know, like things that they bought, that has nothing to do with furthering themselves. And it's like, whoa, that's a kind of not a good decision, and maybe we feel it's our responsibility to point this out. And I don't feel it is, I really don't. And that could mean, obviously, if it's a parent, we got to do what we can to, help our child. But even in the example of my dad, it didn't matter what he was saying to me. I still have to learn my lessons, And if he didn't say anything, though, then, when I was older, I'd be like, why didn't he say anything? Why did nobody care? And so there's a middle ground that if he came from a different angle, I know when if I was young like you, this is what I would do, or something like this. But that's not what he did. He would just come and tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, and then my ears would just turn off. It's like, you don't understand, And he's like, oh, I understand very well. It's like, no, we just don't think the person understands, And so I think this person feels like when you do come at them in some way, it does feel like criticism because of how it's being communicated. And specifically because I think the opposite is also true. It's like, because if you don't listen to it, then it's like, then you are like, fine, then you do your own devices, or don't come to me about it. That's kind of what it's giving off. Now, I don't know for sure if you're doing it, but it kind of feels this way, like that this person is saying, well, you're just critical, or you're being judgmental, or you're just sort of looking at what you think I shouldn't do, And then that's the part of you that's like how you're seeing me and how you're engaging with me. But I'm more than just this thing. And so it's like, I want to still be your friend. I still want to be able to work with you, even though I have a different lesson here that's going on that you can't change about me. Why should this impact any other area of our friendship or our relationship? It's kind of giving off this energy too. Like, I used to work with people like this, or see this, come across people like this. It's like, if they don't get an energy from you because you either don't agree or do it in the way that they wanted it done, then they become distant, or they just don't like you. That's kind of what it is giving off, It's like, what? It's almost like when we give advice, it's not so the person can do it. It's like advice because we're their friend and we're offering some negative wisdom. But generally, people don't usually take advice. They just consider advice, And so it's like, now that person's avoiding me, or now that person's like, it seems like an enemy, or now that person's like doing things here that's like making my life hard. It's like, why are you making my life hard? Because I didn't agree with you, and how the boss wanted the timetable to go, or because I didn't agree with you and how, when we had a vote about where we should all eat lunch, and you wanted this and I wanted that. It's like, you wanted me to agree with you. No, I'm not going to agree with you just because you say it's right, And you're like, but it is right. But it is right. It's like, okay, no, we don't know what's right. That's the whole point of it. And what this person is learning is actually what's right for them, because it's very natural and organic that this person learn this lesson. Even if it seems something very obvious to you, they must learn this lesson. And they will be on the other side saying, ooh, damn it, I should have listened, or I should have, but it's like, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You wouldn't have known because you went through it anyway. And so only God knows. And so I do feel like there's something about this person being stuck, or not moving towards, or not taking the power in their own hands. And now, just to flip it, if this is you, maybe you're in a situation here where it's like, you really want to follow your passion, or create that business, or do the thing, and maybe you feel like it's like your partner is like not supporting you in the way that you need, and then you come down on yourself. And like, oh, it's because of me. Maybe I'm not good enough, or confident enough, or ready enough, or whatever. And so we're sort of like, should I do it? And we're beating ourselves up in some capacity, because there's another energy up in this mix, trying to, like say what's right and what's wrong. Never mind what's right and what's wrong. What that other person's opinion is the point of it. nobody is going to know what the truth experience is except for the person that's experiencing the thing. And the person on the sidelines, to get out of indifference and difficulty, is to open up and understand that the experience is what's needed, not advice and not forcing, not understanding from an angle of I did it, so now you get my understanding just through way of being beside me. No, I understand you must, do what you're doing here because it's a part of your lesson. But I feel there's a lot of frustration because I do feel like this person seems very incapable for whatever reason. And maybe we're like, no, I don't know. Are you trying to build their confidence or make them see the light of what's in their power, And that sounds very good because it's like, why don't they see their power or their ability or their something like this? And they just don't see it. And this isn't something you can show them. So I'm not sure. Let's see. I do feel I'm missing something here. Okay, but if you're here this long, then obviously this is some form of situation you're dealing with. So let's just close this out with what I'm missing and what Spirit wants to say about this. Then, Spirit, am I missing something here? What is it that the viewer is still not fully understanding in regards to this reading that I might be missing? And what do they need to know about this? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Thank you so much, pile 1, for joining me today. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. What am I missing? What does pile 1 need to know about this person? It's misunderstanding or not getting about. 3 of Swords in reverse, the 8 of Wands in reverse, the World with a bun. Why is 3 Swords here in reverse? Four of Swords in reverse. Why is this 8 Wands here in reverse? We have the Star in reverse. We have 10 Cups and the Magician and the Hierophant in reverse. And we have another card falling out, 2 Cups. Oh, wow. Okay. And then 7 Swords. And we see the Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay. This message now is coming through a very specific, okay? Apply it to your energy, like I said. But what's really coming through here, okay, is I know of harmony for you, person. And you could be happy, person, how I say. You can make it happen. This is how your energy is coming through to this person. And this person is healing. Okay? Is healing. So, they're not ready. And you might think, well, but you would be happy if you would just take the action. And it's like, no, it's premature. They have to be organically ready to move forward, either to a new relationship, to a new job, to do the thing that you want them to do or be the person you want them to be. They have to close out the organic process of fully balancing and healing themselves in some way before they get motivated or before they could be successful or before they get in an energy that's actually going to be fruitful for themselves in the future. And maybe you have some skin in the game. Maybe you're a part of this future, because you're like, wow, if then you're happy, you'll move out of my house, you'll get a job and you'll be successful. Or if you just move forward, we could finally live together and be happy and we can have a relationship together and we can manifest this. Like, what's your problem? And they're like, well, my problem here is that I'm still not ready. And they're not, because there's something here that this person is having to organically heal by way of doing, experiencing, We can't rush. It's like rush getting over this breakup. You can't. Every day you sort of get better. You don't know how. You don't know how to put it into words. It's like slowly you start to let go of your ex, or slowly you start to build confidence. Slowly it happens. But this person, however long it's taking here, because I do feel this person might be very sort of stuck in some energy that's frustrating to you, or you might think that this person is lying to themselves. And I do feel this person could certainly be lying to themselves. And this could sound something like, oh, I'm going to wait for Jimmy to come back because I don't know, whatever, And you're like, no, Jimmy's 6 feet under. He's not coming back, you know? And so you see this. How do you deal with it? This person needs to go through it. You can't convince them otherwise. Even if you see a big fat lie, even if you see stagnation, even if you see this person sort of withholding or like, you know, avoiding, because there's some form of avoidance here that's pulling through. It's like you're avoiding your own happiness, or you're avoiding taking action, or you're avoiding communicating about this thing that happened to you, and you need to talk about it. It's like, no, they might, yes, but not what they need for them, you know? Like, yes, it would be good to talk about it. Yes, you're right about the solution would work for others, you know? But this person's journey is specific to them, and it's all in regards to healing something that they're having to do organically. And in the process, it looks a lot like shutting you out, or maybe being avoidant, or maybe doing something here that you see that isn't really aligned with your value. It's like, yeah, but someone who heals wouldn't do that, or someone who'd really want a relationship wouldn't do that, or someone who's really my friend wouldn't do that. It's like, yeah, but you're projecting what they would and would not do. It's like, no, this person would do exactly what they're doing because they're this person. They're nobody else. No one else, you know, this person is unique unto this person. And so they are being exactly who they're being. Now you could say, well, you know, are they doing this, I don't know, to lie or to hurt me? No, this person, if they are avoidant, it's because they're hurt. If they are shutting you out, it's because they're hurt. If they're not listening to your advice, it's because they're needing to heal. And this has nothing to do with you. And if the more you take it personal, you know, the more you're comparing it to what they should do and what's right for you, and the values of what you think they need to do, the more divide happens here between you and this person. And so let them organically close this out. They will close this out because this comes through an experience of going through whatever emotions they need to. The more they avoid, the more they maybe feel better. The more they avoid, maybe the more they have a result here that isn't great. But I feel like this person is not wanting at this time what it is that you have to offer, you know, even if it is, you're thinking like all from a place of love, all from a place that you think would be helpful to them. They're not willing to take it, and their hands are full. And so their hands are full with the 5 swords. And so maybe this is the thing, you know, and then we get, like I said, the 2 energies that you're in. Then it's like, whoa, now they're just being in a way here that's against, you know, like I don't know, it's creating some sort of conflict for you. And it's like, no, it's actually not. It's just creating conflict for your ego. But let them be 5 swords in their own world, you know. The 5 sword energy that they're in is all about themselves, nothing to do with you. And as they hold their 5 swords, the sabotage, I don't know, whatever they are doing, which clearly is not smooth, okay, but it's right for them because it's aligned for what they're supposed to be learning. Their hands are too full. They can't take in what you're trying to give them. And I feel like you want them to take what you're giving. And if they don't, there's upsetness. No. Okay. Time and healing. And I do feel like the only thing we can control is the frustration and how we're seeing this way that we think that they need to be or do, and give some leeway here to know that they're carving their own way of doing this thing. And I do feel like there might be a rebuttal here of but, and if we're doing the buts, if you're doing the buts, you're still not getting the point, you know? You're still not getting the point. Because you're still trying to control something. You still have some sort of idea that your way is better. And so there is no but. There's just, yeah, you might know of a better way for you, and that there is a way for them. Leave them to sort through, but not through this. Now you're going to learn the hard way, or now I'm going to pull out completely because you didn't listen. You know, it's like, no, unless, of course, you're really not their friend. But this isn't doing anything except, you know, creating aggravation. So, and stem from ego, you know, and creating more of this sort of negative energy, if you will. So, beautiful angels, I do feel there's a happy result, though, with this person once they sort of move through this. And maybe you just want them to get to the finish line, you know, like finally, like there was happiness here for you, you know, and I knew that it would be okay for you. Like, just get here. It's like, yeah, but there really is no way that they could just get there, you know. It has to happen in a way here that takes as much time as it needs. When the fruit is ready, the fruit will appear and it will be ripe and it will fall and it will happen exactly as it should. And if we don't like it, then it's because of our ego and our need for control and our desire to rush things, and we're maybe attached to outcome and we want to be right, or we think we're right, or we know how someone else should live. No, 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 not at all. Okay, pile number 1, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2. You guys pick temporality, 61 or 7. We're going to pull your cards together, and we're looking at what it is that the person you came here about might be not understanding, okay, about you or the situation between you and this person that's creating some sort of indifference or divide or misunderstanding that might be creating challenge between the two of you. Okay, now, this isn't a person that you came here about. This could definitely be a situation, circumstance. I'm reading energy, okay? So I do suggest you go listen to the big fat disclaimer before you leave me a comment that I will not answer if I've already covered whatever it is that I communicated there, okay? This could definitely be your own energy, situation, circumstance, person, place, thing. Apply it as you see fit. It's what you're needing to hear, right now. That might be getting in the way of something flowing because there's a misunderstanding, okay, or not seeing, or just not understanding another perspective. Regardless if it's right or wrong, there is no right wrong. It's just I understand it. I could see it, and so we can, once we see it, we understand. There's no need to do anything except for hold of the perspective in a way that allows things to be easier for us. Okay, so let's take a look at what pile number 2. The person that they came here about, or the situation, circumstance, is not understanding or getting about what's going on, or about pile 2 specifically. Where's the disconnect? They're not understanding. Spirit's clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. I do suggest that you guys sit through the card layout if you're developing your intuition. Okay, but it's up to you, of course, to know whether this is your pile. Come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this messaging is right for you. Okay, best way is to sit through this card layout. Now, let's pull some tarot, and then we'll get into your reading. So, pile number 2, specifically, the person they came here about, or the situation, circumstance, energetically, where's the disconnect? What is that person that came here about not understanding, not getting, not seeing about the circumstance or the situation? Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message and help them throughout this situation, circumstance, and understanding this reading as best I can. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Temporality with number 7 or 61. So we got some Cancer, Chariot's Tower energy, and then we have feeling unidentified with 13 and 4. Scorpio, Aries energy. It says basic fear, ego level, misunderstood, insensitive, unseen, annoying, unimportant, unrecognized. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Okay. Crow. Crows are about communication. They're messengers between worlds. It's also this death energy. Okay, so the heavy Scorpio pulling through. We have Giraffe. So this could be seeing someone else's perspective, or seeing from the greater perspective or another angle. Okay, getting a more elevated sort of view of things, potentially. But it sometimes could mean 2 different sort of perspectives here. So we have aggressiveness, 44 and 8. So 44 could be an age, but this is a master number. Integrity is a foundation, treating the earth as home and a temple, manifestation and leadership. We have some Leo and Aquarius energy. So combativity, revenge, anger, hostility, reprisals, and wickedness. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. We have Raven's Head. Wow, interesting. And the crow, you guys. So maybe you guys are seeing a lot of crows or ravens. Okay. Wow. So Raven's Head sometimes is like, oh, not sometimes. In the book, it talks about like being called, on a mission of sorts. It's like, but we might not want to, but it's like we can't unsee what we're sort of being called to do here. We might resist it, or we might want to do something else, but it's like, no, you're on a calling now. You're sort of down this path, and you must sort of, get to where you're needing to go here. But that there is some sort of purpose to it, regardless of how challenging maybe it might be. Okay, and so Saturn, challenge. So Saturn is a heavy planet, right? Because this is all about when we have to sacrifice certain parts or be dedicated and committed. But it's like a heavy energy. It's very serious. It's the opposite of like play. So we have some Capricorn and some Aquarius energy pulling through, and heavy Scorpio that's really pulling through here, and some Cancer, some Leo, like I said, and some Aquarius. Okay, so we have 6 cups. That's kind of this energy. 7 swords. So this is like avoidance energy. This could be, trying to strategize, maybe what we're not seeing. Deceit is some sort of someone thinking for themselves or trying to keep things on the lowdown. Queen of Cups in reverse. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and then the Knight of Wands in reverse. And we have the 2 Wands in reverse. And we have the World in the exact same position that number 1 had. Okay, and then we have the King of Wands. So this came out for 1, 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 and this came out for 1. Okay, and I don't know where I read, like, the chances of cards coming out in sort of the same sort of thing are like astronomical in like a 54 playing deck. So with 78 cards, to get the same cards is quite it's not coincidental. Okay, so there might definitely be a tie to 1 in some capacity. I will read it and see if there's some ties, but Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and 6 swords at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let me read this energy. Okay, you guys, I do feel is very, 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 very similar to 1. Very much so. In fact, probably the same, but maybe from a different angle, I don't know how I'm going to channel this one so much, and there might be a lot of repeat here, okay? But if you do feel like this resonates, you might want to go take a listen to 1, okay? I feel like there's a person that you're dealing with, and both of you guys have 2 different understandings, I feel here, okay? And it might be very challenging to be navigating through. How do I support someone with a different belief or opinion or mission or vision, or they're going in a different direction? But I think what we're sort of, because I know this is about what they're not seeing here, and I think what you feel they're not seeing is your point of view. You might feel unloved. You might feel like this person is not giving you the dues, or that they're being sneaky in a way here that's like only thinking of themselves and doing things kind of out of maybe even malintent, or only, thinking of themselves. And so we might be really taking it as a slight at us, at what they're doing. And really what's coming through here is like they might be seemingly like they are very self-focused. And maybe they are doing that, okay? And I'm not saying that they're not doing it, but maybe the reason why or the purpose why here is what we're not getting. And this is really what I feel. Now you could flip the energy if you see it the other way around. This person is being called on a mission, okay? They really are being called on a mission here by the divine. Now, what I think might be the disconnect here is kind of showing up is that, when we're on a mission and a journey, we don't get handed a script, right? It's not clear to us right away. It's like, you got to do this and then you got to do that. Like, no one's telling us. We're seeing signs. We're getting dreams. We wake up one day thinking we know. And then the whole next 2 weeks, we're completely in the dark. And then that's the mission from the Lord, whatever you want to call it. It's like there's a mission for this person, and this mission has to go however it goes. And this person should handle it however they naturally would. Just like if you're on a mission or some sort of path and someone says, no, right now you should not, be feeling confused. You need to be in the clear. It's like, yeah, but I do feel confused, or they say that you need to be doing that. It's like the last thing you want is to be forced to do what someone's telling you is right or what's wrong or what's needed in that moment. The only way you're going to get through it is to sort of feel your way through it. And I feel like there's this heaviness that's this person's going through here, because maybe they're not getting it and they could be battling something here, it's very heavy. And the only way for them to overcome this thing is however they need to learn to do it. And if you're sort of on the sides, you're going to get hit with shrapnel and all sorts of things that you might take personal, or you might think this person is just being mean or uncaring, or I don't know, something about them doing whatever to you, or you're experiencing it to you. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not experiencing what this person is sort of offsetting to you, as far as like the ramifications of the bystander that you're experiencing. But the greater sort of purpose, because this is really what is the meat and the purpose of this person, is this thing that they're working through, is more important here, okay, at this point in time. Now, I say more important is because it's a calling of the divine in order for this person to go through something that's very challenging, okay? And so as it's very challenging, all bunch of random things might be thrown about. This person might say things, again, if you think that this is justifying somebody's behavior toward you, that's not what this is about. This is all about healing, and how do I engage with someone like this if we know someone's going through a difficult time. Okay, this isn't excusing them to be assholes or blind or do whatever. But this is, now I know how to navigate with this person who is clearly amidst something that seems very heavy, and that also seems like something that is more important than this thing that I'm trying to get them to see or get them to validate about me. Because when I'm turning it about me, then I'm in shadow or I'm in projection. And what Spirit is talking about is this is temporary. Okay, even though I think it's been long and hard, because I do feel like with the Saturn energy, this person has been battling this thing for quite some time. And maybe we're under the assumption, like, because it is this long, or because we think this would take long and it has already taken long, then we would conclude it's going to be long or it's never going to go away. And Spirit's saying it is. So this is the disconnect. It's like when we see how this person's behaved, or doing this way, it's like, well, they're going to be like this. And I guess, there's like this conceived understanding of how it will always be, or we start to identify that this is this person then in some way. And it's like Spirit's really saying this person is behaving as they do temporarily, as they overcome a big challenge during this time where they're being called to do, because for all of you guys it's different. Maybe they're being called to overcome an addiction. Maybe this person is being called to overcome some big belief, like step up in their spirituality. And so they must experience what it's like to not be spiritual, or maybe they're like in a period of, I don't know why this is coming up. This is weird, like stealing from the mall, I don't know. It's like, but they have to get in trouble with the law, I don't know. It's like whatever they're doing here, and they were like, wow, like, I don't know, like we put ourselves sort of up in the mix, like we have something to do with this, and we do not. Now, does this mean that you're not important or that you don't play a role in this person's world? No, not at all. But right now in the highlight is this thing that this person is going through, and I think what Spirit is asking about is for us to understand our own point of view, but also understand and hold this person's point of view without having to throw more maybe obstacles in this way, because it just creates more challenge. Now, does this mean I can't speak truths? No. But does this mean now I'm going to get defensive and maybe try to convince them, or try to get them to see my way, or try to make it something that it's not? Like, why did you steal from the mall? And now you're gonna, like, we're making it more difficult. It's like, no, this person is just having to go through this. Is challenging already. Like, they're going to do this. Like, they have to do this. There's no other way around it. That this, whatever they're being shown or learned or overcoming. Okay, you don't need to make it the challenge for them, or for them to, you don't need it to make it understood, or for help them to see the loops or whatever. Like, there is no involvement that you can do that's going to make it so they could go faster or see this or overcome this. Like, no, there isn't. There is just you being very aware of what your energy is in the moment. And are you a friend seeing their point of view because you want to be? Or are you feeling defensive, and are you creating more tension and resistance and argument here, because it's like, well, but then this happened and that happened, and I need to do this and I need to do that. And it's like, yes, you need to have a voice, but we need not to, we don't need to think that that is needed in order for this person to get somewhere, because this person is going to get to where they're needing to get to, regardless of what you're doing. So you can either make it easy or you can make it hard, and I think you can make it hard here if you start to believe that you have any sort of impact on how this person's going to navigate and do. It's like, no, you're just sort of either going to get hurt because this person is more focused on this thing. Now, this doesn't mean that this person loves this thing. In fact, this thing is heavy and challenging. I don't think this person loves this thing at all. But this is kind of like, when I don't know, maybe some of you guys can relate with this. When you're on a spiritual awakening of sorts, and you have zero control and you're going through this dark night of the soul and like no one understands you. And it's like even the people around you. And there's like, no, but going out is going to make you feel better. And so they make you, like they can't make you, but they keep calling you, texting you. And it's like, come out, come out, come out. It's like, you're not helping. You're actually aggravating. You're actually slowing this down. What I need is for me to sit here in solitude and go through my dark night of the soul, Now, does this person know what they need? Probably not. And maybe you're trying to be helpful, But what Spirit is saying is that this person isn't not going out for a drink or not doing the thing you want them to do because they're avoiding you or choosing the bad thing. It's because this thing that they're overcoming is grander and is being called to action and is being put in front of them. And it is something that they're needing to put behind them and they're needing to resolve and they're needing to understand and experience on their own through however means so that they could really, really get to the other side. This person is being given information and navigating this thing. Okay, because I feel like they're at a pivotal point in their world where they're releasing an old part of themselves. And this part of themselves could be something that has held them back, has been something that has been a big challenge or struggle for this person. Okay, and I feel like this is going to be a process. And in the interim, it's like maybe we're wanting to compete with it. I want to compete with your purpose or your mission or what you're doing because you're not paying attention to me. You're not going out with me or you're not. I don't feel seen. I feel blah, blah, blah. And I nag. And it's like, whoa. And then the more you do this, the more I want to just sneak away. Because it's like, it's not you, I love you, or I see you, or you're my friend, or we could go out for drinks later, or whatever. But right now, like, whoa, I might as well then not even, like this is so important that what am I going to do? Like, if you keep texting me, I'm just going to block you. Not because I'm annoyed by you, but because this is so heavy, that I have no choice but to block you because you're creating more suffering for me here in some way. And so this person might feel like, this thing is only something carried alone. And it might very well be because I do feel like this person is having to do something here that they're being called to do. Okay. Now, this is going to come to an end. Okay. The world talks about a successful conclusion. I feel like this person is dealing with something that they're having to close out and release so that they could put it behind them. And in the interim, their energy is supportive of what's going through them right now. And Spirit is really talking with the Six of Swords and this temporality and all this death energy. Like this is shifting. This is being released. This is closing out. And it's going to take as long as it takes because it's like the supernatural thing that's being in action here. And it's going to be and take as long as it needs to. And once it's done, I do feel like this person, it could definitely be a person here who then will be free and ready and very capable of whatever it is that maybe we're wanting them to see or do, but they're not here yet. Whether it's you or this person, like I said, because it's stunted right now. There is no forward movement according to where this person's at. The only thing that this person is having to deal with is work with the old energy until it's released. And so I feel like this could be a person, place, thing of the past that I have unresolved issue with, that I still have an understanding about, or that's created some sort of burden in my world, my childhood, or how I grew up, or there's a world that I know, and this world that I know is creating this thing, and I need to reconcile it. And maybe it's like, if I don't, it's going to create all sorts of havoc, or it has created sorts of havoc here, or it has made me become somebody who I'm not now, like, in order to fit into that world, okay, this is coming through. Yeah. Like if you're their friend, or maybe their family member or whatever, and it's like they identify, it's like to stay there, it would require me to be who I'm not. And they're seeing this, but it's like, but then who am I? And it's like, but I don't want to just leave my friends or my family or all of a sudden say I'm different, because we got to reconcile this however long it takes. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to live in inauthenticity. And this person could have been living in inauthenticity for quite some time, justifying it, or like validating it, or just that they felt like they had to, because it's like, whoa, but it's my high school friend, or like, but it's my family. Of course I'm going to, like, I can't be anything other than this. Meanwhile, it's like, no, the truth is being shown to them and they don't want to see it or accept it. That no, they don't want to, live in a van down by the river with their friends or whatever. They want to go to the big city, that's truly that, whatever. Apply the situation, and it's like, no, but I'll stay here. It's like, no, your soul is calling to you because you know of a greater version of you. And so I feel like for all of you guys, this person that I'm tapped into, whether it be you or the person you're dealing with or whatever, is in a situation here that they feel very attached to, that they've always known, and maybe it was right for them. And now this situation is no longer aligned. And now they're working it out, because I do feel like for some time this person was trying to still be there for that, or the old version of them, to make it work, or to say it's easier this way, or to get along. It's like, no, but I've outgrown it. It's shedding now. And so they might be very defensive about this, or, defending their position, or like trying to fight against it, or anyone who's trying to show otherwise is like, like, I don't want to believe it, or I don't want to see it, and I don't want to accept this other version of me, or that, whatever. But now there's an energy here that they can't move in that direction. It's like a dead end. And it's like, no, the universe is calling. You have to see this. And now once you see it, you can't unsee it. And the only thing you can do is release it, however long it takes, and however challenging, and whatever you got to do it. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take you being honest and committed to this thing, because this thing is going to call and pull to you, because it impacts you so greatly. This is like, like where you live, like this is your whole life, where you live, how you're living, the people you're living with. And so it's going to impact your everyday world. And so this person's being called to close this out and get out of this energy so that they could align with a greater version of them. And then I think this person would have more of what you want, because I do feel like you want, if I'm reading this right, you want this person to be, I don't know, free to this, or to go after something, like, and be sort of available, and like, have buy-in, and have like this, like, I'm 2 feet in, sure, like, let's invest in this business, or let me move here, or do this or do that. And right now it's like humming and hawing, feeling stuck, dealing with this. It's like, why aren't they moving, or why aren't they deciding, or why aren't they as excited or committed or dedicated or envisioned about this future, that's maybe I see them having, or that's they say that they want, because maybe they've told you, it's like, I want a better future, or I want to own my own restaurant. And then here you see them sort of not doing it. And you're like, what? But I know what you want, or what you said you want. And it's like, yeah, but, I can't just do that. I'm not there yet. I'm not motivated to get to this point until I drop the baggage, or see other truths that I need to work through. And so Spirit's really talking about you understanding this person, that there's a process that they don't even understand here, that the divine is controlling scenarios and situations, so that this person can see through their inauthenticity, so that this person can see through the parts that are creating challenge in their world, and so that this person can see where they need to be navigated next, that's going to be more aligned to them. And in the interim, how the best way for you to see this is like, if they're being, in one way, and it's like, don't force it, don't think that the more forceful I am, or the more I can will my way, that they're going to see it. If I could tell them more, or if I could bend to their way more, or if I could do this or could do that. It's like, no, there's no need to push your energy upon it and be aggressive. There's just allowance, space, acceptance, and I got you, And we might feel very left out. And I think this is, like I keep saying, this is the problem here, is like, well, I feel maybe they're not seeing me or understanding me unless I'm up in front of them, like doing the song and dance or whatever. And it's like, no, trust me, it's nothing about this. This person might see you for sure, but they see this other thing that's glaringly obvious, and it's the thing they got to deal with. And I do feel like this person might feel in that environment not seen. Okay, but also this feeling unidentified, I feel, is because, it's like, if they're no longer that version of them who they used to be, and people around them expect them to be like this, but they're not. It's misaligned. And so they might try or pretend, or still try to adapt and say, well, maybe we could still make it work like this. But it's like, no, there's only so much adapting and tiptoeing where we don't feel seen or recognized, where we have to make big change. And we say, you know what, this isn't for me. Sorry, hometown, but I must go. Or sorry, family, but I got to go be a boot up the hill because it's calling to me. Whatever the thing is calling to this person is calling and they can't turn it down. Okay? Driven by this thing. And so either we could support them, or we could be resentful and angry about them and try to force her away, or we could just know that this is temporarily happening so that they could release things that aren't aligned for them, because they will close this out. Okay. And I do feel like this person is a beautiful, fiery energy of someone who can do. And I don't know, I just feel like this person might feel like not supported. And I don't know if they feel not supported by you, or just no matter what, they don't feel supported, because it's like, that's not who I am. And their environment's like, it's not who I am. So even if you mean well, and your way of support is, let's go for drinks, or let's go party, or let's do this, or let's do that. It's like, yeah, but that's not really supporting me. So they don't feel the support, because the supporting of me would be like, hey, go take your space, or ignore me, or do whatever you got to do, because I know what you're doing is unconventional here. Now I feel loved and supported. And so this person might feel like unsupported, not necessarily by you, but maybe by you, it's like, you don't see my point. You don't see what I'm going through. You don't understand what I need. And what you're trying to force on me isn't the thing I need. I don't need this right now. I don't want this right now, or I can't do it right now, even if I wanted it, because there's something pressing. And this pressing thing needs to get resolved. And I'm trying to close it out. I want to be better. I want to move to something more aligned. Maybe that is with you. Maybe that is, something else completely different. And that's what I'm trying to work through. Okay, so beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I do feel it's concluded. I don't think there's anything more here that I want to say. If you do feel you need more, pile 1 could be very similar. Okay, I do feel is kind of similar there. May be different for some of you guys, but yeah, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, friends. You guys chose pile number 3 with the comfort zone 56, or the number 11. We're going to shuffle the cards. We're going to ask Spirit for what it is that the person you came here about, or the situation, circumstance you're dealing with, is not understanding, or the disconnect, okay, between you and this person or the situation that might be causing the challenge. Okay, so like I mentioned, this could definitely be a flip reading, meaning it's mostly about what you're not seeing or understanding, okay, which could help as well, obviously. Our situation, because this is all about us seeing where it is that we can find clarity to make things a lot smoother. Okay, so the person that pile 3 is dealing with, the situation or circumstance, what is it that pile 3's person is not understanding about pile 3 specifically, creating challenge or indifference or a blind spot with pile 3 Spirit? A clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good. Now, you guys don't have to sit here throughout this period, okay, because this is going to be for those of you guys working through your intuition. We will lay the cards and ask Spirit what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the messaging is right for you. All of these, Spirit? Yes. Okay. And so I will put a timestamp below, okay? But I do suggest that everyone go listen to the disclaimer before they leave me comments that I'm just not going to answer, okay? So everything you need to know is in that disclaimer regarding this reading. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. What is it that pile 3's person, the person they came here about, the situation, circumstance, not understanding, seeing, getting, what's in the blind here regarding this person? Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much, pile 3, for sharing your beautiful energy with me. Nope, that doesn't feel right. I'm so blessed to be here. Okay. Super hot in here. We have the Magician. And we have the Work card. Interesting. Okay, so 106 and 7. Realism, effort, task, duty, labor, work on one's self. 98 and 8. And it says innocence, self-kindness, vulnerability, sincerity, sensitivity, authenticity, self-weakness, acceptance. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Wow, 7, 8. Okay, and then we have Joy. I thought this said now. 7-7. 7-7 is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom. Trust of life, trust of self. So that would explain this self-work. Okay, joy of projects, enthusiasm, pleasure, freedom, optimism, and good mood. Type 7 enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. Compulsion ideal, virtue, growth level, and essence growth level with a lot of green. Okay, bipolarity. And it says 58 and 4 with mental tendency. So manic depression, borderline, instability, versatility, inconstancy, emotional imbalance. Type 4 the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Okay, and then we have revenge, 74. And it says 8 and 2, requesting recognition, rejecting of others, control, authoritarian, aggressiveness, becoming indispensable. Type 7, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving with the red ray, okay, which is root chakra. Comfort zone, 56 and 11. And we have the unicorn. Wow. Talk about becoming indispensable with this unicorn. Yeah. And then we have winter, 16. More chariot and tower energy, because we have that with the 7s here. Okay, 7 is all about faith and wisdom, reflection and understanding, but like it says tower and chariot. And then we have the earth's heart, 52, another 7. Wow. So we have 7 7 7 7. You might be seeing 4 7s. Okay, some of you guys might resonate with a life path 7. Okay, that's thoughtful, intuitive. Okay, but it also could be very moody, could be very shy for life path 7s. Okay, 7 is all about spirituality as well. Okay, and personal growth, which we were really getting with this working on oneself. Okay, and this magician, all about manifestation here. So Virgo, Gemini energy. And then we have 2 cups. Wow. And then we have 2 swords. So choose. 22. 22 is a master number. Peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy energetic boundaries, divinely guided relationships. 2s are all about balance, duality, choices. Okay, and then we have the Hermit in reverse, strong Virgo energy. Again, working on oneself coming through, but that's in the reverse, and the 3 cups in reverse. And then we have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and we have the World in reverse. Believe it or not, this world came out in the exact same spot for all 3 piles, except it's in reverse for you guys. And it's clarifying this Knight of Swords, but it was right here. Okay, interesting, very interesting. And like I mentioned in one of the piles, is like the chances of the same card sort of coming out are astronomical. You know, in a 54 card playing deck, there was this article I was reading that was really talking about like the chances of the messaging with cards. And so when you get specific cards, it's not, it's not by chance. And so there's something very synchronistic about this World card coming out over here. I think we're closing out major cycles here for sure. Okay, could also have things to do with the planetary transits and energy going on with the World. Wow. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so what's under this Magician? We have 6 of Pentacles, and it is in reverse. Let me sit here with this energy, okay? What's under 6 Cups in reverse? The 10 of Swords in reverse. That's like this World in reverse. It's ending. Okay. Okay, beautiful people, I'm about to sneeze, I think. Sorry, itchy nose. It's like a punch in the nose. All right. Could be reading your energy, okay, if it's flipped, but I do intend on this being your person or your situation, circumstances. Feels circumstantial is what it feels like to me. But we do have the 2 cups. So I feel like the battle is with the circumstance, not necessarily with a person. And I do feel like this is what you're facing with, okay? But whatever, take it into context. But I'm going to read it like this because this is how it's being channeled. So I feel like you are in a period of time here where it has to do with your relationships. Relationship does not necessarily have to mean romantic sexual relationships at all. This could really literally mean I am understanding how I show up in the world and how people show up around me and what that means and what I want and what it looks like. And this might be taking quite some time. Okay. And why is it taking quite some time? Because we have to iron out what isn't in line, what's not feeling good, in order to identify what feels good and what we can connect with. Okay. And so I feel like this is talking about a situation, circumstance, because we're asking what it's not seeing, and this could definitely be what is going on in your situation, circumstance that is misaligned in some capacity in order for us to be free and peaceful. Okay. And so I feel like you've been in a situation, circumstance for a lot of you guys. It definitely could be romantic. It doesn't have to be, like I said, and this could be different aspects of yourself. I'm just reading energy. Okay. But I'm going to read it this way. It's like stuck relationships, cold relationships, or relationships where I'm without stingy people, or it feels like I'm not understood or fully going to deep places. Deeply understood, deeply loved, deeply cared for, like there's something very deep about you, that wants to be seen and wants to be expressed and wants to be felt and wants to be loved, and you're deserving of all this, and we all are, of course, of course we all are. It's like there's this version that's deep within me that wants to be seen and loved, and so this energy that we generate, that's driving us, because we're all driven, okay, by this strong force where it's pulling us to. Okay, this is how we find our purpose. This is how we find lessons in life, because there's something pulling at us, knowing where we need to go. That's the universe guiding us towards what we need to experience. It's there for a reason. Okay. And so what I think is happening here is we're being pulled to obviously experience this thing that's pulling to us. I want to be seen. I want to be loved. I want to share this deep thing. Okay. But And the only reason I'm saying but here is because how this is expressed and experienced and seen is the part that we're learning about. And it seems to me like we are experiencing the opposite, or we have only experienced the opposite. And then there's frustration here, because it's like, maybe I'm not meant to be seen, or maybe I need to stuff this down, or maybe there's, then we get frustrated with the desire and the need for this. And so obviously, if we're attached to an outcome of who we think and how we think things are supposed to go, we align ourselves for difficulty. Okay, because we have a vision of where we think that we know better than the universe of what's going to work out, and we never know better than the universe, because if we were the ones that were calling all the shots, which, we would find ourselves sort of miserable. We never know what it is that we need better than the universe. The universe knows what we need, Only in hindsight do we say, oh, okay, now I get it. So Spirit is saying, yes, you deserve love. Yes, this deep thing that it has within you that you want to share and give is definitely worthy of being experienced, okay? But there is a need for there to be a working on self to a point, organically, like I always say, where this winter thaws away, because now we are no longer in situations where we might feel or understand that we have to do or be, however we do or be attached to, that's creating our own suffering, stagnation, and understanding of limitation. So Spirit is saying there's happiness to be had. Okay, there's a truth within you that is very powerful and true that we don't need to change. I want to be loved, seen, and appreciated. Yes, good. You don't need to change that, When we say, well, you need to be happy on your own, this doesn't mean, well, then don't be happy being loved and seen and in a relationship. Of course, be loved and happy in a relationship. But what we're doing is we don't need another person to validate our happiness. We don't need some situation to show us our own self-worth. And if it's not there, then we're miserable. And so right now, I feel like our energy is really predicated on what's going on around us, who's around us, whether someone's showing, reflecting back to me my self-worth, whether this relation's deep or not, whether this person's compassionate or not. And this is really dictating my energy and my emotions and whether I'm happy or whether I'm sad. And so, of course, we'll be yo-yoing and ping-ponging left, right, and center. Why? Because our physical world is always changing. Okay, it's always changing. There's always manifestations coming in and out of existence, relationships, people, situations, everything comes, goes, comes, goes. That's a constant. And so what Spirit's saying is, we're not going to peg your joy and your happiness and your core of who you are and how you see yourself based on what you're seeing in front of you with your eyes. Because one minute you're going to be like, whoa, this person's showing me appreciation and love, and then they leave. Well, this person's being so nice to me. That must mean I'm very, like I'm a good person. And then they start being mean or they're in a bad mood. That's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe they don't love me. Maybe I'm unlovable, and now my happiness is like pulled with this person's mood. And now I'm being pulled by my external circumstances. If I'm single, it's like, oh, people don't love me. Obviously, I'm not lovable. Obviously, I'm not material. It's in a partnership material. No, it doesn't mean any of those things. So right now we have we're pegging to the outside world our own happiness, and the truth of the matter that Spirit is saying is your core value of who you are, like your innate value, I should say, okay, isn't predicated on what's going on around you out there, coming in and coming out. No, it doesn't swing. It is a constant. So your value is always constant. You're a divine being. Okay, but what is happening is there's all these experiences and all of these sort of the veil. Okay, and to get from the core essence of who you are to the outside world, it's like there's all these different layers that we're having to pierce through. How I see myself, what other people are actually doing, because people will be doing certain things. So it's like, how do I take how other people will respond or what they do? How am I intaking it? What sort of dialogue do I have with myself? What sort of actions am I taking in my world? What is in my world right now? Is this reflective of who I am and what I want? All of these things are needing to get looked at and dealt with, because that's your barrier to getting to where you need to go. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is what you're wanting, you're deserving of. What you're wanting is true and deep, and it's authentic. It's to be loved and to be seen and to go to the depths and to have someone to do this with, to share this with the universe, whether this be a career, whether this be a job, a person, a relationship, your environment. It's something that sees me and appreciates me, and it comes from the heart, and I feel at peace with. I trust it. It brings to me the same amount I'm putting into it. I don't feel neglected. I don't feel disvalued. I don't feel anything except for peace when I'm in the experience of it, And this is what you want. And Spirit's saying you can definitely have this. But what we're dealing with now, I think, the situation, like I said, we want it so bad, but what we're doing is maybe putting up with opposite here. Why? This is talking about comfort zone, okay? So this is giving me multiple things. We could be in a situation, okay, where we're trying to work with maybe potentially someone who might be in a comfort zone, or a situation that is the same. It's the same. It's been the same. It has been the same. Why? Two answers. If you're not with someone that seems to be stuck in some sort of comfort zone, you have a world that you built based on your own manifestation, your own mindsets. Remember, I was telling you how you act in the world is going to reflect back to you something. When you act different, believe different, you get different results. It's all about our beliefs and our actions and what we do. And so you've been engaged in the world in a certain way under one assumption that feels stuck, and that's your environment. And now it's like, well, this environment isn't giving to me. I'm still single, or I'm still not seeing it, or I'm still disappointed. It's like, yeah, you're the one who sort of created that environment, and we don't want to believe it. We think it's out there. It's happening out there to me. It's like, no, we created it by our own thoughts, that I'll be single forever. I'm unlovable. No one likes me. It's not happening. Or I keep dating. It's not happening. Okay, you created this. The other version that I'm getting here is someone, okay, in the comfort zone. This could be, again, like I said, your situation still, but you're dealing in a situation with someone who might be in a comfort zone. And it's like, that has nothing to do with you and your beauty. And it's like, how much stuckness do I want to be here in a situation that isn't moving or isn't progressing or isn't scratching this itch that's been calling to me? Because you know that deep inside you, there's a calling. And Spirit is saying you are this beautiful energy that's very unique to you. Okay, now we're all special. We're not the only one that's special here, but we're all special, which makes us very unique. Okay, and I think right now your uniqueness and what it is that's very special to you here isn't being honored or seen or experienced, and it's creating a disconnect and disharmony. Okay, it's creating disconnect and disharmony. And so I feel like we're wanting to control. Okay, this is control here. And it's also saying requesting recognition. Okay, even though I don't feel revenge is so much the word here, but the requesting recognition and this control. Okay. And this also becoming indispensable. What this is really giving me is like, I feel like I am the one that's either going to put into the universe how much they're going to love me and see me, because I'm going to control how this person or other people will see and love me. And if I can't do it, I'm a failure. If I can't do it, then I'm falling short. If I can't do it, then clearly there's something wrong. It's like, no, one, you can't control whether other people are going to like you or not like you. You're already lovable and likable. You're already unique. There's nothing you have to do. So drop the control. And then the requesting recognition is like something within you says the only way I will be joyful, the only way that I'll be appreciated here is when someone's giving me recognition, when it's coming inwards to me. When that person says something or does something, now I'm getting it inwards. Now I feel seen. Now I feel I'm scratching this thing. It's like, no. It's not inwards. It's how you manifest outwards. The only thing that's lacking is what you're not giving. If you're not giving love, love will always be lacking. Play that backwards, okay? So this is all about what am I putting out there? This is all about you getting in the vibration of what you put out there. I put out love. I put out acceptance. I put out this beautiful energy of who I already am. I don't need to control situations and appear in a certain way to get love or to be seen. There is no control here. There is just being the core of who I am and outputting this energy, this beautiful energy. Okay, now if we're desperate, if we're trying to cling, if we're trying to coerce, if we're trying to change people or get them to do something or validate, then that's the energy we keep manifesting. More of me being needy, clingy, chasing, and trying to control. And we keep getting stuck because it's still, because the thing we were really wanting, remember, the thing we really, really want is to be seen, loved, and appreciated and accepted. We really want it, you know? We don't want to have to fight our way through that to get it. We don't have to. That's the point. You don't have to fight to get love. You don't have to fight to be seen. You don't have to fight to get appreciated. But when we fight because we're not in line with what the universe is flowing to give to us, because we think we know better, it has to be this person. It has to be this way. I have to do it that way. We're saying we know better than the universe, and we're creating our own suffering. We're going against the grain. Spirit is saying, let it go. And that's why it's so important when we talk about surrender. Surrender means, Spirit, I trust that you're going to row me towards the right people, the right relationships, the right things that are aligned. I don't have to fight for it. I don't have to carry it. I don't have to control it. I don't have to resist it. I don't have to stay stagnant and feel like I'm stuck. No, I'm allowing you to move me. Okay, but we have to do the work to get there. And what's this work? This work is seeing through what isn't us, seeing through the veil, and really understanding ourselves, okay, with this hermit. And ourselves have nothing to do with nobody else. Ourselves is the internal light of who we are. It isn't predicated on what's manifesting out there. And if we're too concerned with out there, we're never, ever able to connect to the inner light. We keep searching out there for the right mirror, this person, that circumstance. It's got to do this and it's got to do that. And we're in an endless search, and we keep getting disappointed time and time again because, like I said, the external world is always manifesting in and out of reality. The joy is pegged to it, and so the joy will go with it. It's like, no, the inner joy is going to be connected to from the inside. It has nothing to do with out there, because right now I feel like you're misaligned, okay, in your relationship or in the people around you or in getting to be understood or seen because the job's misaligned or this relationship's misaligned or it doesn't flow. And so when it's not flowing, the mindset you have right now is, I'm going to make it flow. I'm going to make it so, and I'm going to control it to be. And so I'm going to be like this, or I'm going to do this thing, or even if I feel like this is authentically me, that I'm trying to like get it to be, you know, it's like, no, don't get it to be, surrender. The manifestation is going to happen on the outside world easily without control and manipulation. It happens through a change and a mindset. So right now, what you're manifesting is actually against what you're wanting to see and experience. This is what Spirit is talking about in your situation, because we didn't do the depths yet of the self-work to release and surrender the need for control and how we're seeing it, that someone else's way of being around us or situations around us that aren't good according to us have nothing to do with us. Like truly, we can sit at peace here. And then we start to manifest peaceful situations, the right people, the right support, the right relationship. It becomes balanced and harmonious, and we're not having to chase it or fight it or go out there and search of it. Right now, it feels it's not coming to you, and so we might be even more desperate about making it happen. No. Okay, but I do feel like whatever you're in, it feels very stuck. It feels like I can't move on from this type of an energy. So either I've been single forever and it's just not the right one's happening, or I've been in a relationship that's been so stagnant, they don't understand me, or I'm working with someone here who's very stuck and it's not progressing, or they're not still seeing it, or I still don't feel valued. I still don't connect to the joy here. And Spirit is saying, okay, your situation might be very, very much how you're seeing it, and that's valid. But now the only way to change it, or the only way to understand it differently, or connect or make shifts or manifest different, because you can. Well, how you manifest different now is pulling it back to self. Just let whatever's happening out there be the thing that it is. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. Bring it backward, inwards. And what we're connecting to is our essence. And we're not shaming ourselves for wanting love or being understood or wanting it. But the way we're going about it is the thing we're looking at. Now we're saying, I don't need to chase it. I don't need to prove it to anyone. I don't need to get anyone else to prove it to me. All I need to do is connect to my own beauty and my own essence and my own innocence and my own specialness here, because we're all unique and special. It's there, whether you see it or not. You're a divine being of God. You have to connect to it, okay? But this is the difficult part. If we've never connected to ourselves and self-love, okay, then we don't see it. We have self-speak. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough and that. This is the thing that the self-work needs. We have to heal this. We have to, and I say have to, we don't have to do anything, but in order to connect to what it is that you say you want, which is harmony and relationship and manifestations out there of a beautiful, harmonious thing that brings you joy. If you want this, you must do this work. Otherwise, your happiness is going to be ping-ponging depending on whether things are good or bad in your outside world. And you're going to say, yay, now I'm loved and now I feel horrible. Now I'm appreciated and now I'm not seeing my appreciation goes with it. And it shouldn't be like this. Your appreciation is going to come from within. You're going to sit with yourself until you see it, and you're going to release anything that is telling you that you're not lovable, or that's not you, or that you're this or you're that. Those are just beliefs. Those are experiences. Those are certain things that you have to see through. The great truth here is that you are this beautiful rose, worthy of love, deep, deep, deep love by other. But we must give it to self and connect to itself, where we don't need it to be shown to us in the outside world. And when we're there, we just want to give it. When you're at that point where you just want to give it and it feels good to give it, you're going to bring it towards you. You're going to manifest this beautiful thing. Okay. And so what Spirit is saying is, you're in the final stretches here. You're closing this out. It's still not closed. And this is why we might still not have that relationship, or we're still feeling like we're not understood, or we're still feeling like it's still not happening for me, Spirit. Why? Spirit is saying it's coming. Okay, it's coming. This is giving me this innocence. Okay. And so we want truth when it comes to love. We want to be experiencing, vulnerability and authenticity and true acceptance here of ourselves. And so what does this mean? This means if I'm not vulnerable, if I'm not authentic, if I don't love myself in this way, I will never be able to find another that's going to give it to me. Out there, you're going to see a mirror of self. So I feel like right now, if you were to be completely honest with yourself, because I don't think you know yourself well enough, I think you have a challenge being vulnerable. I think you have a challenge here being authentic, which means what? Which means I might be judged. I might not be loved, because you're doing that to self. You're judging self. You're not trusting yourself to be within yourself, to be vulnerable and to say, I love me. I will sit with the discomfort, because right now I feel like we haven't done this. And so we are wanting the quick fix out there for someone else to do it, but it's actually not quick at all. It's an endless chase. It's an endless search. It will never be found. And like I said, it'll be up and down. And so Spirit is saying, you are coming to close this out, to learn to love self from self, to be vulnerable with self, to be authentic with self. And once you learn this, then you can desire to give it out there, and then it will come to you. But right now, you can't be authentic in a relationship. You're not giving from a place of innocence. You're giving from a place of need. You're giving from a place of desire. You're giving from a place of, please, for me, please ease this part of me that really wants to be seen and really wants to feel this thing. And you really want it and you're deserving of it. But nobody owes that to you. No one's going to give it to you. And if they do, it's never going to be consistent. And it's like you still, manipulating and controlling it in some way, because if they step out of line, it's like, whoa, no, now it's not really what I wanted, or it's not really, it's like, no, there is no controlling and manipulating of energy. There's just outputting my beautiful light. And what is for me comes to me. And then I can see how beautiful I am, and other people see it too. There's no control or manipulation. There's no being too scared to be seen or vulnerable and be like, whoa, I got to be cautious. I got to be cautious here just in case they betray me. It's like, no, well, then if you're like this, you're manifesting more relationships to be cautious of, to tiptoe around. That's not inauthentic. And we can say, well, if we're just not caring and we could be betrayed and lied upon and all this stuff, then that's your belief. That's what you'll experience. This is all about, yes, use discernment and understand that people are definitely going to disappoint, and they're also going to make you happy, and that there's a great alignment and that there's misalignment. And when you're aligned with someone, their faults aren't the type of faults that are going to make you fall in a way that you'll lose your own self-dignity or respect or value, because it's not predicated on if this person does this or that. It doesn't fall with that person. I'm strong within myself. I understand myself. I could give and be vulnerable without it being only like a transactional. Right now it's super transactional. It's like, I only want to give, and we might think I'm going to give, like really, I'm going to give. So I'm giving, but it has to be a two-way street, people always say, it's like, but if don't, then I don't. It's like, yeah, but that is the mindset of a transactional tit for tat. It's like, I don't care what's out there. I am loving outward, giving outward, compassion, love. I'm giving outwards of energy because I want to, because I've connected to my strength. I'm happy and I feel happy. But if we're not there yet, that means we got to feel happy with self. I'm so happy with self. When we get to the point where we're so happy with self, watch how many people want to be pulled to you. It's like, no, but I'm focused on these things that make me happy. There's nothing stuck about that energy. It's like, I'm full, I'm complete. I'm totally able to be self, authentic. And then you have all of this opportunity, all of this true energy coming around you. Okay. But when we're seeking and it's like, we're trying to be transactional and we want someone who's not going to do this and they better do that. And it's got to be like this. And it's too much control. No, that's not what love is. Love isn't controlling. Love isn't seeking out there what we're needing. Love is, I'm going to output my love. I'm going to give out my love, because love has no manipulation. It's not controlled. Love just is, And so once you sort of work through this, because it has to be, like I said, with self first, and you'll be surprised at your self-speak and your judgments of your own self. And when you have judgments of self, you're also carrying that of others, and that outputs energy. We're judging others. We're going into the world with beliefs and all of this stuff. It's like, no, that is actually resisting and creating the thing that you do not want and that you're experiencing. And so we're working on releasing and understanding this so that what you manifest is exactly what it is that you're wanting. You're wanting a union, a give and receive in a balanced flow state. Okay, your soul tribe from a place of true, authentic understanding of self. Okay, and you're going to be guided to get your wish of this, innocent love, truthful, honest, where it feels right and where you're really truly seen. Okay, that's what you're manifesting. But right now, that's not what's manifested, because that's not what your energy's been like. So, long reading, pile number 3. I hope this made sense to you guys, beautiful angels. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the next one. All right, bye-bye.